Co-founder of Edge, and we are a mobile wallet and a security platform for blockchain technology. But what I'd like to talk to you about today is actually a paradigm shift in security. And we call the security model Edge Security. And it was built for blockchain. It's inspired by the blockchain, but I think you're going to see that it actually is something that can transform the way we do security for data in general. So much so that we've rebranded our company. We formerly were Airbus. We've rebranded around that term, Edge. So before we talk about Edge Security, let's talk about what we've been doing for security for the past several decades. And this is the centralized or enterprise security model. And the problems with this, as we've seen, is that we take data in this model and put it in centralized servers and present and give many different weak points to attack our data. You can attack the network connections, you can attack the server itself, and most of all, you can attack the people that you have to host that data with, the companies. And this model just simply isn't scalable. The bigger it gets, the larger the providers get that hold our data, the more people that you have to trust within those companies. And we've seen time and time again this model fail. The biggest companies in the Bitcoin space still have gotten hacked and lost a tremendous amount of funds. A lot of people have heard of the Mt. Gox incident, other smaller companies, but still fairly large. Bitfinex, Bitstamp have all had issues with this model. And this isn't unique to the Bitcoin and blockchain space. Even well-funded, large companies in traditional space, Home Depot, Target, JP Morgan Chase, all centralized institutions that have lost or compromised user data. The problem with this is really the incentive model. It's not about the technology, it's about the incentive. This model effectively puts all of our value in a castle, and while we might be able to build really big and thick walls for it, you know where the value is. And once you get it, you get not just one person's value, but multiple people. So what's the solution to this? Effectively, Edge Security is that model that we're migrating to, and it's the one that blockchain is motivated. And the concept being, you take data and secure it at the edges of the network. What exactly is the edge of the network? Well, if you think about that hub and spoke model of servers and network connections and your individual devices and people, at the farthest edge of the network are people. It's you, it's me, and the devices that we touch. So the concept is take data, secure it on that device, encrypt it on that device before it ever hits the network, before it ever gets saved onto a server, before it leaves that user's device. And the beauty of this model is not just in that technology, but this inverts the incentive and the game theory of security. For an attacker, they need to not just get into one place or into one company's system, they have to get into multiple, millions, hundreds of millions of devices to get the aggregate value that the system holds. So this is what we call not just security by technology, but security by, once again, that game theory. So why do we now come up with this idea, this concept of edge security? Well, this is what Bitcoin and the blockchain has done. For the first time ever, we're actually taking data and making it money. So data has had value before. Obviously your photos, your documents, personal information, all of that has had value to you and to other people, but it's never been actually money. If that data got compromised, well, someone else steals it. They have it and you have it. With Bitcoin and private keys, a little string of letters and numbers about that big on your screen can now hold as much wealth as you could possibly put into cryptocurrency. And now the incentive to get to that data is tremendous. Bitcoin decentralized money, but one of the most powerful things that it's now causing us and forcing us to decentralize security to match up with the needs of that new kind of money. And this is what the industry looks like. So many of these companies are wallets, including us, Edge. And we're all contributing to this exact security model. We're helping people secure data on their own devices where only the end user has access to that data. And many different companies are doing it in different ways. You see some hardware wallets, software solutions, web-based solutions, but they're all contributing to this exact security model, which is what's so awesome about this space. And it's changing the way we think about not just money, but data. This is the analogy of what it's done for money. And what I'm really excited to notice is that there have been many tools that can implement aspects of edge security, and they've been available for a long time, even before Bitcoin was invented, but we've never really used them, and I never really heard of people using some of these tools. A lot of them are encryption tools, two-factor tools, synchronization, data synchronization to copy your data from one device to another. BitLocker is an encryption tool. In a way, iCloud is a backup and synchronization and encryption tool as well. So these tools have been available. Some people use them, but for the most part, most people haven't really known that they've existed until they had to deal with private keys for cryptocurrency. And suddenly their adoption started to grow and grow. But with edge security, one of the key pieces of it is encryption. Cryptography is the key piece, but with cryptography and with blockchain comes a critical piece, which is the private key. It's the key in cryptocurrency that gives you access to money, and in cryptography, it's the thing that locks your data. It's the combination that you put into the lock. It's the key that unlocks that locker. But keys are incredibly unfamiliar, intimidating, and unforgiving. Kind of the three tenets of why this technology has been so scary to people. What you see here on the screen is a mobile wallet in the Bitcoin space, and the process by which you manage your keys to make sure you don't lose your money. It presents you I think it's 16 random letters that you have to know, memorize, write down, and then a PDF that you then have to copy off of your phone to save on some device, someplace, or print out. And you need both of those to get access to your funds if you lose your phone. As well, this is a common thing that people see in a lot of wallets, software and hardware, which is the 12 or 24 words that you have to write down. Very common, not incredibly difficult, but very unfamiliar. Most people are not used to seeing this when they have to access a mobile bank account. As well, many people ask, well, what do I do after the fact? After I've gotten those 12 words, where do I put it? I've never had a safe before. This ends up being one of the challenges of this security model, right, is managing of keys. This is actually, I think, the cream of the crop of key management user experience issues I've ever seen. And this is coming out of an Ethereum smart contract application. It's actually one of our partners, and they've actually removed this since, so I give them a hard time, but it's such a good example. And in the sign-up process of their app, you first create a password, and then they give you your username. That's the username right there in red. It's a giant stream of about 300 characters that you have to somehow save on your computer, and once again, don't lose and don't forget it, and then you can't change the password. So the culmination of all of this is what we see as the cryptocurrency space. Many exciting things that we can do. We think of smart contracts and loans, decentralized social media, and blah, 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 but we keep forgetting about the keys. And if we really want to decentralize blah, 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 whatever your pitch is for some ICO, you got to make sure that the keys are decentralized. And so this is where our company comes in, how we contribute to this kind of edge security model in many ways, the way other companies do as well. So it starts off with our platform, our SDK platform that the various applications can use. And it applies a lot of those tools that I mentioned in the previous slides. Encryption, all data, always encrypted, first on the user's device, and only the user can unlock it with their credentials. Second, backup, because we are our worst enemy. So automatically backing up data before you ever could lose the device. And then because we're in a cloud-based world, we're used to accessing things from multiple devices, synchronize that data. Give the user access on their tablet, their phone, and their desktop. Revision control, if you've ever used Google Docs, you write something, you mess up, delete it, undo. That's available as well. One-touch two-factor. If anyone's ever had to use two-factor and gotten tired of copying and pasting 6 or 8-digit codes from one app to another, this one's built in. You don't even see it happening. And then probably our biggest and most compelling piece of functionality is password recovery. And then password recovery in a traditional centralized world is pretty simple, but for encrypted data, it's non-existent. So we're one of the only platforms that offers it. As well, we decided that it's nice to have a simple login system. All of those features I mentioned in the previous slides are provided with just a basic login subsystem. You feel like you're just creating an account when you really control the data. But that's only one piece of the puzzle if you're going to be accessing multiple decentralized apps. If the future of our world is decentralized smart contract applications, having to create an account on all of those is still a bit tedious. So we introduced what's called Edge Login, which is the world's first single sign-on for encrypted data. Imagine a suite of applications that all hold your data, but encrypted client-side where only you have access to it. And then being able to use just one set of credentials to access all of them, much like you use Facebook to log into many centralized applications. Edge Login will allow you to log into decentralized applications and secure private ones. And those are a handful of our partners that have signed up to incorporate our application, including Augur, which many of you heard about a couple presentations ago. And to round up the offering is Edge Wallet, our now in beta, much anticipated multi-currency, multi-blockchain, token supporting wallet. It's out right now on iOS and Android, but it's in beta, so we do invite people to sign up and give it a try. And it culminates and uses the platform that our partners are using as well to secure data. And we, once again, in the app, provide people with that familiar interface of just simply creating an account, logging in on another device, enabling two-factor, giving you that same security that we provide with all of our partners, but inside of our own app. And this is the app that allows you to single sign-on to other applications. And what excites us a lot about this kind of transformation from the centralized security to an edge secure model is, once again, not that we can just apply this to blockchain, but many other things. Because if you think about it, a private key, while that is the thing that really gives you control over your money, in the end, that's nothing more than just data. It's just a tiny bit of data. And we put in all this effort in our world and all the different wallets at securing that tiny piece of data. But once we've figured out and built systems to help people secure that little bit of data, that data doesn't have to be a private key for cryptocurrency. We're excited to see that be a private key for identity that helps you prove that you are a citizen of a country when you go through a passport, through an airport. Or it could be your actual personal records. It could be your financial records, your healthcare records, personal info, documents, photos, whatever you want. As opposed to storing that in, once again, the centralized services that we have to trust to both not lose and not get compromised. That's the very exciting thing that really, really drives what we do at our company. And what I think is also at the heart of a lot of blockchain companies as a whole. We're simply taking that first step that Bitcoin did in decentralizing money and now doing it for the rest of our data and our security. So once again, I invite all of you, if you guys would like to give a shout out to our company and give the product a try, if you do have different currencies to try out, Edge Wallet is available for beta testing. Just give it a try on edgesecure.co to sign up for the beta. And thank you very much.
All right, very nice. Thank you, brother.